everyone, today's art journal prompt is silhouette and I want to do something a bit different today. I've got a piece of watercolour paper and I'm just going to spray the back just to stop any curling when I add lots of liquid to the front, and I'm going to be using bleeding tissue again. I've got various circles, I've got 7 different colours and I'm going to start adding them to my page. So I'm spraying with water first because it just helps the tissue to stick, and I'm just going to put some clusters of circles overlapping, and I'm going to do it in rows. So I'm going to start off with the red. Oh, hang on, I've got some stuck together. Here we go, that will do for the red, so we'll give that a squirt. There we go. And add some more, and then I'm going to come in with some of the orange, and we're going to add a layer. Oh, whoops daisy, quick, lift that one up before it stains. Once they're down, they'll start bleeding. Now I'm using bleeding tissue paper that you've seen me use before. I'm using a pack that I get from the Works here in the UK. It's £1 for a pack of 80 sheets. It used to be 100, but now it's only 80. But it's brilliant stuff, and you do need bleeding tissue paper. Some of the kids' tissue paper, craft tissue paper will work, but wrapping tissue paper won't, because of course you wouldn't want dye all over your presents, would you? Some of these, I haven't cut these particularly well, and hang on, let me just grab a pair of scissors. Oh, there we go. Let's just cut these apart. Right, okay, so that will do fine for that. And then I want to add a row of pink. Let me just move the orange ones out of the way. Now, I think it's Spectrum do a pack of bleeding tissue paper on Amazon. It's not expensive, and you do actually get a lot. So I'll leave the details in the description box below for you. But as I say, just standard wrapping paper tissue will not work. It needs to be bleeding tissue paper. Oh, come back. Be careful when you drop these, because as you can see, they start to bleed as soon as they hit the water. That will be fine. I'm not too worried about that. It's just me being clumsy. Right, add more water. And it's the water that makes them activate. As I say, you've seen me do this before. Am I going to run out of pink? Should be fine. There we are. And then I want to add some purple. So we'll come in with a row of purple. Again, we'll add some spray. And I can tweak this. I can go and cut some more if I want to. Try not to overthink where you're placing them. Oh, I've got 2 together, and I'm overlapping these, as you can see, just because I think that will give quite a nice effect. There we are. That's the purple. Then I'm going to add some turquoise. Here we go. Spray some more water here. And I'm trying to achieve a bit of a pattern here, where I'm sort of leaving this area white, trying to achieve some white space. Oh, there we go, that's fine. These are quite difficult to get apart. Not difficult, they're just a bit fiddly. Fiddly, that's all. Oh, I've dropped it again. Then I want to, excuse me, I've got a croaky voice. Then I want to add a row of lime green. And hopefully, if I've got room, I've got some yellow as well. I might have to stop at the lime green actually with this, which is fine. In fact, I will. I'm not going to bother with the yellow. it will probably blend into the lime green anyway, and you won't see much of it, so that's fine. And I'm just wondering whether I should perhaps continue coming down here. I think I will. Right, I'm changing my mind, changing plan. There we go. I think I'll add some more of the turquoise as well. Oh, these have stuck. Oh, lift that up. Got two stuck together here. Come on, come apart. And then we might add another purple. And just keep fiddling with this until you're happy with the layout. I think I'm happy with that now. I think I might go and cut a couple more lime green. Right, now I've added a couple more of the lime green, and I'm just going to make sure that that's completely saturated in water. And then I want to grab a kitchen towel. Right, let's just wipe off the dilution spray bits. So I'm going to come over now with my kitchen towel and just mop up all of that ink, that water, so that's really dried it. And just look at that mop up towel. So you'll probably be seeing another project with that. And then I'm going to dry this with my heat tool. And you'll know when these are dry, they'll dry really quickly and they'll start pinging off as soon as they're dry. I think I might need a bit more water just there. Let me just go over that again. That one wasn't quite stuck down, and I just want to be sure. There we go. And I'm going to continue drying. And as I say, they'll just start to ping off really. Here you go, just like that, so it doesn't take long at all. So I'm going to continue with this until they've all popped off. See, look how pretty that looks. It's just gorgeous, and you can see that I've laid some of the tissue pieces on top as well, especially down here where I've got a bit that didn't quite take. And I think I'm going to glue these down with some matte medium. So I'm going to go off camera and do that, and then I'll come back and I'm going to save all of these lovely pieces. Just look at all these gorgeous pieces. It's just where all the colours have bled into one another. Now this is how my page is looking, and I just think that looks so pretty, and I just think the circles really do add to the page. But be warned, I went over with the matte medium a second time just to make sure that these were adhered properly, and on the pink it's sort of bleached around the edges, which is a shame, but hopefully by the end of this process you won't be able to tell the difference. Now I want to use this stencil here. It's an Americana Decor, and it's the birds and the bees. It comes in a set of two. Those are the birds and these are the bees, and I just think this stencil's absolutely gorgeous. These are really good quality stencils, and I'm going to use some archival ink. I'm going to use this one here. I've already given it a trial run, as you can see, just to sort of see which one I prefer. And I've got a bit of buckling going on, but I'm fine with that. That's okay, that really doesn't matter. And let me just have a think about where I want to position my bee. I want it slightly off the page. I think I want it there. So I'm going to load up my sponge. I'm just using a makeup sponge, and I'm going to really need to pounce quite a few times to get full even coverage on this. And I'm putting the focal image on first, and then I shall add to the background afterwards. I just want to see what space this takes up, and then I think I'm going to add to it after. We'll see what it looks like. And keep my fingers crossed. I think that's it. Ooh, look at that. Isn't that just gorgeous? I just love that. So I'm going to wipe my stamp off with a baby wipe. Oh, trying not to buckle it. It's a shame. If I hadn't have moved that, I'd have had a nice impression on the drop sheet, but hey ho, there we go. And I'm going to give this a dry. Now I want to add some honeycomb stenciling as well, and I've got this honeycomb stencil here, and I'm going to add it in this area here, and I'm going to use some of the fossilized amber distress oxides. Now what have I done with the sponge? Here it is. And this stencil isn't quite big enough, so I'm going to have to keep moving it along, and this time I am sort of going over in a circular motion, and I'm starting off quite dark, and then I'm going to get gradually lighter as I move over, and I'm just going to keep moving the stencil along and realigning it, and then going over much lighter now. Moving it over again, just making sure that it's lined up properly, and then I shall come down here. How pretty does that look? Just look at that, isn't that gorgeous? Really lightly, and then getting darker as I come down here. And moving it along a bit, I think. I just love how that looks. I think I want a bit by the wings here as well. I just love that. I just think that's really pretty. Right, okay, so I'm going to give this a dry. And then I just want to add some detail over here, and let me just make sure the lid's on properly. I'm going to use the Wilted Violet, and I'm going to use this stencil here. I can't tell you what it is, unfortunately, but I'm just going to place it over, and I'm going to go around where I've got those circles. Pressing really lightly. Darker here because otherwise you won't be able to see it. Just look how pretty that is. I just love that. Where was that one there? Which one was it? Oh, never mind. I think that's fine. Right, okay, I'm going to give this a dry. Now, can you believe it? It's now 3 weeks later. In fact, it's 4 weeks later. I've been on holiday to Spain and I've come back, and this is as far as I got before I went away. Something had obviously interrupted me before I'd finished this page, and I can't remember for the life of me what it was, but and then I can remember before I went on holiday I couldn't find this page, and I found it tucked inside my Art Journal Prompts journal. Now I'm going to add some Distress Oxide oxides and make a border. I can't decide what I want to do with this page now, so I thought I'll add a border. Sometimes by adding a border, if you get a bit stuck and you can't decide what to add next, by adding a border, it sort of draws your eye to the centre of the page, and I don't know, it just gives your page a bit more focus, so that you can think as to how it's going to look when it's finished. It helps me anyway, so that might be a useful tip for you too. So as I say, I'm using Distress Oxide in the Wilted Violet, just to add a border. Let's see how this looks. There we go, and that's better already. Now I think what I want to do is add some embossing powder over my B, just to make it brighter on the page. So let me just go and grab some tools and I shall be back. Okay, so I've got my stencil and my clear embossing pad, and what I am going to do is lay the stencil over the top, trying to line it up as best as I can. There we go. I think that's pretty much it. Oh, come on. That will do nicely. Let's open the embossing pad, and I'm just going to go over with some embossing ink. Right, okay, so that's done. I'm going to give my embossing powder a quick shake first. This is the Paper Mania black embossing powder, and I'm going to put a layer over my B like that, and then shake it off onto this piece of paper here so that I can tip the excess back in. Give it a good old flick on the back, which will hopefully sort of get rid of any stray bits. That's pretty good actually. And let's just grab a paintbrush and do what I always do, just get rid of any loose paper, loose particles that accumulate. It's difficult to avoid it, but it's really easy to scrape off before you give it a dry. Remember that once you've heat set it, that's it. There's no going back then. It's there for good. I just want a slightly finer brush. I've got a little bit here that's bugging me. There we go. So let me just tip this back in, and now we can hit it with the heat tool. I should have heated this up a little bit first. And there we go, we can see it starting to change. And I just love how that instantly brightens everything. Right, the heat has warped my page slightly, but that's fine, we can flatten that out. And by the time I've glued it into my journal anyway, you just will not be able to tell. Now I've just been playing around with this, and I've added a thicker layer of the purple just by smushing it around the edges, just to make it a bit more dreamy, really. And now what I want to do is go over it with some black as well. So I've got some archival ink here, and I'm just going to use my sponge just to go around the edge with the black. You know by now that I just like the two colours. Whoops daisy, I've got some black on there, but never mind. So I'm just going to go all the way around the edge like this, just to sort of really darken that border, and I just think that makes a big difference. And all I want to do now is just add my quote. I've printed two off. Here we go, and I've inked around the edges. I've just typed these in Word and then printed off on some cardstock. A busy bee has no time for sorrow. I couldn't decide which one I was going to use, and I think I'm going to use two. I'm going to put one in the top right hand corner like that, and then beauty is in the eye of the bee holder. And I just love that. How cute is that? So I'm going to fiddle around with this and glue it into place, and then I'll come back once it's in my journal. And here we are, here's this week's finished page. I decided to add another quote, be you, that I'd also printed out on the same sheet. It was just sat there and I thought, oh, what the heck, why not? I love that. I'm really pleased with how that's turned out. So I look forward to seeing what everybody else decides to create for this week's silhouette prompt. I've gone completely non-traditional this week, as you can see. This is the page that I created last year when Deb originally set a silhouette prompt, so completely different here. So that's another idea for you, and I'll leave a link to this video for you in the description box below if you'd like to, you know, have a look at another idea for you. But I hope you like that. I'd really appreciate it if you would give me a thumbs up if you did, because as I always say, it just lets YouTube know that you like what I'm doing, and let me know what you think in the comments below. And for anybody that would like to take part in this art journal prompt, or would like to join our fun and supportive group, then I'll leave the link to our Facebook group Art Journal Prompts in the description box below. So take care everyone, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye for now.